Hello, welcome to another audio commentary done by Luminous, and today we are bringing you this very long and epic game between LGD and SGTY, and this is a live commentary coming from Dota Commentary's TeamSpeak live commentary room. And to make sure we're still very synced up, I am at 8:14, 8:15, 8:16, 8:17, 8:18, 8:19, 8:20. And this is a very long game, so I did not really pause for the game analysis. But for this long game, I have Ian James Barnett join alongside. Are you synced up and are you ready to go, Ian?
Yeah, so just really quick, I'll read off for me. I think we're maybe synced up. I'm at 37, 38, 39.
I'm 3 seconds ahead of you.
40. Alright, I'm speeding up a little bit. Hold on.
45, 46, 47, 48.
Keep counting.
49, 50.
51.
You good?
52, 53.
We're good. We're
54.
perfect. We're perfect.
We're good. Alright, so now let's take a look at, they're already heading out to the lane somewhat. Hey, by the way, this is Ian joining you guys. Thanks for the introduction, Luminous. And we've got, looks like we're going to have a tri-lane top with CH, who is going to be on the Visage. We have GX playing his usual support role on Witch Doctor, and is it Sherigan, right? He's
Sherigan, yeah.
But he goes by, or his tag is Benz, and he's going to be on the Lina. So Lina's going to be excellent in a tri-lane. Seen her a lot more recently. The most useful rune in the game picked up, level 1, picked it up, refreshed to full health on the Necrolite. Anyway, they're going to have this tri-lane on top where, if we then look at eHome, they've got Sniper, who's going to be getting the farm with a Vengeful Spirit and an Earthshaker thrown in the mix. So, pretty epic. Actually, which way do you think this tri-lane will lean, just based on these players and heroes?
I definitely have to give the advantage to the Sentinel tri-lane. If you look at the Sentinel tri-lane, they are extremely heavy on the burst damage. They got 2 nukes from the Lina. The Visage has a very powerful nuke, Soul Assumption. Of course, Witch Doctor is kind of sort of nuke-ish, depending whether he goes into his Maledict, which can determine how this lane is going to go out. I think they should go Maledict. Generally, that is not the standard, at least Asian build, but high burst damage and with Soul Assumption, they could get a lot of kills with Maledict, and it really depends on how they skill it. But I got to give the favor to the burst damage of the Sentinel team. Meanwhile, in the other lanes, we have a Necrolite at bottom, played by ZSMJ, and he sees soloing against a Necrolite. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do see Burning's Shadow Fiend against YYF Storm Spirit, who's having a little bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, and this is one thing we've noticed ever since. Oh, up top we're seeing there was an attempt made on Vengeful Spirit's life, who barely makes it out alive after a Soul Assumption almost brings her down to nothing. So already a lot of action up top. We're going to have to keep our eyes up there, but we do want to make some mention on this mid lane. After 2009's departure, actually one of the most attractive qualities to me about LGD, SGTY, what really, a couple months ago when I really started to like them, it was because YYF and CH would just, basically, they would almost play like roaming support together. YYF would, play semi-carry and stuff, but his hero pool has changed drastically ever since 2009 left. He's really had to play much more of the carry role that 2009 used to, and I much prefer to see him when he was running around with CH, and I really thought that's what set SGTY apart from, really the rest of the Dota scene. Now, they still are near their top, but, they used to be considered probably the best. eHome, on the other hand, as we're seeing today, maybe has usurped that title. So, this game definitely has a lot of promise. Top lane actually...
Yeah, definitely...
Yeah. Go ahead.
It definitely shows that a lot of these Chinese players, they could definitely play outside of their role and play extremely well. Like Ian has been talking about, YOF been lately playing against, playing the solo mid, playing the kind of hardcore carry, the role that he doesn't usually play very competitively.
So bot lane... bot lane.
Go ahead.
So bot lane, we got ZSMJ was... Oh, sorry, nothing actually really occurred there, but King J landed a pretty nice... Basically, almost took him out. He has leveled up Poison Sting to some extent, I believe, even though he has wards. He's level 4 right now. We don't actually have a Magic Stick yet on Rotund, and especially if you're leveling up wards, you need to get a Magic Stick on Rotund. I actually saw eHome played a pretty good... actually, one of the best... Oh, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything up top. Anyway, eHome played, I think, in GMX recently in the qualifiers for King of the Hill tournament. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember entirely. But they had a solo Venomancer who totally schooled the opposing Storm Spirit. And what he actually did, he didn't level up wards because he saw that his opponent got a quick magic stick. And instead he leveled up his, is it Poison Sting, right? And he actually just totally dominated the lane. So I believe.
Wait, so he didn't get he didn't get a single level wards?
He wasn't leveling up wards early. He was putting. He actually might have gotten a single wards, but I remember the skill build. Or I don't remember entirely the skill build, but he was definitely putting. Maybe only put 1 in wards early. He wasn't maxing it, and he definitely wasn't using them. He was literally
I was following up. I was gonna follow up your statement. I was gonna say, well, Venomancer, though generally we don't see it in a long lane solo very often, he does have the capability to do so with his wards, because it gives them, you can throw one into the forest and that is your own observer ward for the longest time there.
It's true.
And so, but then you just kind of like juke me there by saying that he didn't level up a lot. But yeah, definitely I've seen Venomancer solos, at least in the Asian scenes, and I think it actually makes a lot of sense when you say they're not leveling up, considering that you only want those wards when you're going for your hardcore pushing mode. And I guess you could, like the couple of minutes before you actually start your push, you could get it then. And as the wards is really only used for the pushing, and not much of anything else. So
yeah, and you can always just throw, maybe skill build 1 of Venomous Gale, 1 level ward for the scouting purpose to just throw up in that shadow if you're playing the long lane. And beyond that, you don't necessarily need anything else. So, man, I'm actually really surprised we have yet to see a kill. They've had quite a bit of action. A lot of the heroes getting pretty low health. If we see mid lane, actually, we do get first blood from Burning with a haste. He goes and takes out Storm Spirit. He put up quite an effort, and tried to juke him in the woods, but well played there by Burning. So actually, that was the last place I was going to expect a first blood, but.
Yeah, and I definitely missed it. I thought it was definitely going to come from the top lane, but if you think about it, Earthshaker, one of the most defensive hero in a tri-lane. Every time the Sentinel squad has tried to go on the Sniper, on the Venge, the Earthshaker just stands back and one single Fisher grabbing 2 or 3 heroes, and that's all you need to kind of stop a kind of an offensive attack on your heroes. And I gotta say, if you look at the top jungle, right, that there's a ward there. I'm not too sure whether this ward is placed in the purpose of seeing into the enemy lane, or was it to kind of block the camp, but it's not doing neither. So either that ward was misplaced or something, but it's not helping them doing the job they want them to do, I guess.
Although it did catch all 3 heroes right now, so they're coming over to Earthshaker. So it served its purpose there. Perhaps it could have been
no, not that one, the one to the right, above the
sorry, I was looking at the E-Home ward. I see what you mean.
The E-Home wards is definitely good. Yeah, it's definitely helping, giving them the sight. But the LGD ward is kind of like, okay, what's going on there?
Yeah, it's not even blocking the camp, is it? But
yeah,
interesting. Maybe that was actually misplaced. They maybe wanted to get a little bit of sight in the lane and actually misplaced the ward a little bit. So interesting. That's a good point, though. The whole time I thought you were talking about that E-Home ward, and I was like, I don't know, but looked like it was good to me. But anyway. If we look at the farm, actually, it's fairly even in these lanes. We've got, well, actually, that was a second ago when I checked. Yeah, actually, 16 creep kills on the Visage and 16 creep kills on the Sniper. So, fairly even, although we do have 7 on Lina, so she's actually picked up quite a few. But do keep in mind that some neutral kills have gone towards the E-Home tri-lane as well. So, fairly even right now in farm, and they definitely haven't traded any kills. So
meanwhile, in the mid lane, even despite the Shadow Fiend getting a kill on the Storm Spirit, we do see pretty even farm there as well. Storm Spirit is level 6, so she can be quite an offensive force, but I don't think he has enough mana just nuke down that Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend does have a haste invisible rune right now, so he can kind of ninja kill on the Storm if the Storm is not being careful enough. On the bot lane, we do see 19 kills on ZSMJ versus 34 kills on who's this guy? King J here. King J is just winning the lane, dominating, and it's kind of it's the first seeing the LGD or ZSMJ getting completely whooped in the lane. Not that kind of difference in margin. So I'm completely really surprised there.
Yeah. So actually, maybe part of it is I've heard that ZSMJ has played Necrolite a little bit as of late, but that's definitely hasn't been. It's not in his traditional hero pool. I guess I haven't see, I only see what they put on Gosu Gamers, but it's definitely maybe a new trend for him. And if we look, actually, we're going to be seeing King J is going to be maybe going for ZSMJ. He's got to be careful though, because wow, he's popping a salve. No, actually, no one's going to end up going down. But that is really tricky territory because you have to be careful of ZSMJ's ult there, and so he ends up backing off, and no one ends up getting a kill. So. Pretty intense play down here, though, and yeah, actually, I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, that King J is doing so well against the SMJ with a hero who should really be so dominant in a solo lane like Rotund.
Yeah, I have no idea how that's happening. If you look at the Venomancer's positioning, right, he's just right next to the creeps. ZSMJ is the one that's afraid to even show up nearby. Maybe on the top lane, there's a lot of initiation. We do see a Fissure here, and that's on the wrong side of Fissure, actually blocking his own teammate off. That's like an Ian James Barnett Fissure, and
sure.
I'll explain that if the action cools down. Looks like it will. So you want to talk about that Ian James Barnett Fissure?
Oh right. Actually, what's my philosophy? I forgot it. It's the exciting thing about Earthshaker.
Yeah, the most exciting thing about Ian James Barnett in playing Earthshaker is that you never really know which side of the Fissure the enemy will land on.
Yeah,
and that was definitely
it's part of the excitement. It's part of the fun that I bring to the game. So, you ever play with me? If you ever get the pleasure of enjoying my support Earthshaker, you'll see what he means. But anyway, wow, we got 4 heroes. So actually, Burning, I think, showed up trying to get some kills, and then Earthshaker kind of pulled the Ian James Barnett. And so he's kind of angry. He's pouting a little bit, and he heads back to middle to farm instead, rather than farming heroes. Because, man, that is an opportunity missed. If you got a level 8 Nevermore who is invisible going to a top tri-lane and not getting a kill, something wrong definitely happened, because that's, his prime nuking power. And while I say that they do actually get a kill, YYF, his roam top actually ends up getting them a kill, which
I wouldn't call it a roam. He just poured it on the top tower and went like 8 miles per hour. Well, 8 miles per hour is pretty slow, but in this like game is freaking. You know what I mean? Yeah, he just went in and he went crazy. It looks like they're gonna mount a push here as we see Selena starting to nuke the lane. Mid tower is gonna be going down now with no one to defend her as well. So I think they're gonna trade a tower for a tower. I gotta say this tower trade will favor Eho more, because your mid tower is, I think, more important than any side lane tower, because the mid towers give you so much more map control, map advantage, and I mean, that's what I think about that.
Yeah, and yeah, sure enough, they do finish the trade, and here's an interesting thing. We do not see. I'm more accustomed to seeing the roaming Venomancer. So, what does a solo Venomancer who has 54 creep kills after just 11 minutes of play, what does he go for? He's already got.
I think it's definitely going to be Aga Scepter. Aga Scepter with level 16 Venomancer ult, it's I think 106 damage per second for like 14 seconds or something, or 16 seconds. It's ridiculous. It adds up to like 12k or not 12k, 1200, 1400 damage. Like that's, of course, that's before reduction and everything, but it's a lot of damage. Look at ZSMJ. It might be in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't even have sight of the jungle or not, and he is safely backing up. But keep in mind that he has no magic wand charger. He just used it right now. Looks like eHome is gonna mount a push here, and of course we didn't really give you guys the hero discussion and whatnot. It looks like we're not gonna have much action now. So why don't you guys, why don't you tell me what do you think about how this game is going to progress? This is a very, very long game. I'm sure all of you guys do know. And, judging from this long game, we do have Sniper, we have Shadow Fiend, we have Visage, Necrolite. How is the carry going to shape up against each other?
So, in my opinion, actually, I give a slight hero edge to LGD. I think that Storm actually, we didn't really go over the picking phase too much, but Storm was 3rd picked, and then after he was picked, a Sniper was picked up as a carry for eHome. So I actually think that's not necessarily the best pick to do after they pick up a Storm.